and who knows, maybe we'll package up JBJ and Blake Swihart. We'll pretend it's 2015 and go get Cole Hamels for the summer. I don't think that's realistic, but he's not going to be worth a lot of prospects at his age, and he'll probably he might end up with the Yankees, or if Toronto makes a run, maybe with them. There's a good chance he ends up in the AL East. Let's put it that way. All right.
Who's this?
Cole Hamels.
Cole Hamels.
Oh, Hamels. Okay, yeah.
I feel
yeah,
like
that's a possibility.
Yeah, because he's gonna, I think he's through 2019 is
Yeah, then for 2019, 2020.
Yeah, and those are option years though too, I believe. Yeah. So okay, all right. Well, let's just move on, I guess, to the Blue Jays. They've been scuffling a little bit lately. The matchups don't look terrible. My computer's
No, their starting pitching's been awful.
For them?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we got Sale right away versus Sanchez. Oh, come on. Yeah,
Ooh, that's a fantasy matchup for me.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
Yeah, I have Sanchez.
On paper, it looks good. I had Erod tonight. I was like, oh, great, going into the game. And then I have Greinke as well, and he was pitching well before we come on.
Yeah, they're in the ninth. They're still tied 1-1.
Oh, it's 1-1 now? Well, I won't get the win then by the sounds of it, but hang on, I'm just trying to get the matchups back so I can get the stats.
It's Price, it's Sale, Sanchez, Price, Estrada, and then Pomeranz, Stroman.
Right, yeah. And starting
Stroman
with
sucks.
Stroman's awful.
Especially in big moments against big teams. That guy has just been a terrible disappointment. I'm glad. I thought he was going to be a Cy Young candidate several times over, when he was first coming up, and just been really disappointing. But
it's hard to have an ERA around 7 or over 7 at this point in the year.
And win a Cy, yeah, that's true. Sale, I didn't see his last start, but he hadn't been quite as electric before that start where he punched out 12 batters.
I was encouraged.
Yeah, I mean, I just out of nowhere, he just flipped the switch and it was like 2017 again. So, how was his velocity that start?
He hit 99 once in the start, and I was like, holy shit, did he just hit 99? That's what the Texas Pitch Tracker said.
Okay, all right. So, yeah, he's getting back into form. So, hopefully
the slider looked wipeout, which is just amazing.
Right.
It's been a while since I've seen him look that good.
Yeah, good. That pitch has really kind of transformed the game quite a bit. I know Greinke was destroying people with it last year, and a lot of people just seem to be throwing it, and then the curveball this year has been
at 12-6.
Yeah. And then so he's up against Sanchez. So how's he been pitching? Let's see. Yeah, he's 1-1 in his last 3 with a 4.6. So he's been scuffling a little bit. Really, chances are we should take 2 out of 3 here, I would say.
Just win the series.
Yeah, exactly. What about...
Can we just beat a bad ball club? Can we just go in there and sweep them? Is that really asking too much against this garbage Blue Jays team?
Exactly. And then we have Oakland right after, and they've been... I don't know. They were doing okay at right around 500.
They just got swept by Houston.
Oh, did they?
And they're going to have to play the Yankees for 3 games.
Yep.
And then Oakland comes into... Oh, wait, so maybe we don't have them. Maybe I was looking at the Yankees schedule.
No, we do have Oakland.
Oh, we do, yeah.
I'm going to the game on Monday.
Yeah, gotcha, yeah. That makes sense, because they would just play us all while they're over here. Yeah, okay. And Pomeranz against Stroman. So Stroman really does have a 7-something?
Yep, 7.75, I think.
Yeah, that's what it is. And
I have him in fantasy. I used him as a keeper.
Oh.
God.
But to be fair, the keepers were like round 5 and after. So like
gotcha.
I didn't really get anyone that obviously that I wanted to. So I kept Benintendi and Stroman. Yeah. So.
Benintendi's
Not good for me.
been scuffling a little bit, for a guy who's spent the whole winter getting jacked. Like he hasn't been.
Just relieved that he finally hit another home run.
Finally,
It's about time.
I probably shouldn't be saying this on a podcast, but if anybody's gonna pee funny colors on the Red Sox, my money, I would bet it would be him. I don't know. He hit what, 20 home runs last year roughly?
Yeah.
And I don't think, look at Mookie. He's not jacked. So it's like, I feel like if he's putting too much time and emphasis into the bodybuilding, I just think the baseball's going to suffer. I just think he just needs to, focus on his craft and he'll be a 3,100 guy, but this isn't going to be this year at the pace he's going anyway, unless he has like a JD Martinez second half.
The problem is like baseball now, like singles are a disappointment. It's like you're either going to strike out or hit bombs. And I feel like just get on base.
Right. I'm old school. Like this whole launch angle thing, I'm just like, if you're just hitting for power, like power contact, like that's fine. But if you're trying to hit them all over the fence, you're going to be striking out, you're going to be flying out. And I'm not a big subscriber to it, but, I
like JD Martinez's approach, though.
Yeah, the old school, like with the notebook and just kind of taking notes down. Yeah, he does that. And I guess him and Mookie have kind of buddied up in a way, too. So
need them to put Benny in a headlock and make them watch.
JD's a big launch angle guy, though, too. So I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, I don't know. He's hitting whatever he's doing. It's working though. He's hitting well above 300, and I didn't realize though that most of his power was to the opposite field. I never knew that.
Oh yeah.
That's like a disadvantage at Fenway if he was, the monster, is a little bit shorter, So a lot of those balls off the top of the monster are only going to be, might be singles or whatever in other parks. So I don't know. Fenway's one of the biggest right fields there is in all of Major League Baseball. So yeah, so I don't know. I thought he was going to be more of a pull hitter, and I'm like, he'll make that monster look tiny if he has one of those. You saw those memes with Stanton where he became in the Yankees. You must have saw those, how they added like another 80 feet to the top of the monster, for defense.
Yeah.
I thought they'd have to do that for that's the only way they could keep JD from not hitting bombs, and just been worth all the money. I don't care if Stanton leads him in certain categories. I'll still take Martinez every day of the week over Stanton. I like him better.
JD gets on base more.
Yeah, right. He's just a better ball player, I feel like. And it's funny too. David Price reached out to him and said, "Oh, dude, they're gonna boo you. They're gonna boo you. You're gonna love your teammates, but the fans are gonna boo you." Everybody loves JD Martinez, So it's like,
yeah. Well, that's what happens when you keep your mouth shut and you perform.
Right. Exactly.
And you don't deal with Twitter. You don't deal with video games, Fortnite. You don't deal with any of that bullshit in public. That's what happens. Chris Sale knows how to do it.
You wonder if he had a conversation with Lovello and was just like, Torrey was just kind of like, "Hey, this is basically how you handle the Boston media. Just shut up."
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I don't know, but I was a little worried because there were all those rumors he was gonna sit out till June and that Boston wasn't being reasonable during negotiations, and we didn't know if this was coming from Martinez or Boris or what, but while that was going on in January, I'm like, shit, I hope we're not getting like Adrian Gonzalez 2.0. You know what I mean? He's just going to come in here and be mouthy, with the media.
Major League Baseball has a huge problem right now.
What do you mean?
I'll tell you what it is. With that free agent thing, if you think that it's just last off season, then you're out of your mind, because it's going to happen this coming off season as well. Maybe not with the bigger guys like Harper and Machado. Well, Blackman's not on the open market anymore, but Kershaw possibly could be, depending on if he opts out.
I don't think so. He's on the DL again.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I think there's a huge problem with baseball, and I don't know how you fix it, but I think that until they do, there's going to be a major problem with the free agency.
I think this offseason in baseball is going to be a lot like the NBA offseason was a couple of years ago. I think everybody's going to get overpaid, even like the small guys. Like everything that baseball was trying to avoid, it's just going to escalate, because Harper's about to blow the top off the record books for the biggest deal.
Yeah, I don't think he will.
I don't know if he's going to get as much as everybody thinks he's going to get either.
But it's still so much more than the original. Like, it's still a lot of money.
I think he's going to get a little bit north of the Cano deal, and I think that's about it.
I think.
I'm sorry. I think he'll get a little bit north of what Stanton makes, and I think that's about it. I don't think he's going $500 million or $400 million. I think he'll get somewhere around $350.
I don't think he even exceeds $3. And you mentioned Blackman. He was never going to get a deal like that, but he took an extension because he played it safe. He didn't want to say no now and get way less, like Moustakas did. And Moustakas only...
Jordan Zimmerman, too, with the Nationals.
Yeah,
yep.
And
same thing.
And then Altuve, same thing, kind of chickened out. Took a 5-year one. Well, it's a high annual value, though, but for less years. And so he's getting $30 million over 5 years, and he has to do his 2 arbitration years before that even kicks in. So it's really a 7-year deal, really.
If you're Charlie Blackmon, how do you turn down playing at Coors Field for most of your career?
Right. No, I know.
Yeah,
that's a great ballpark.
He's probably going to end up being a Hall of Famer. I mean, I'm not saying that like to joke around either. I mean, if he continues to do what he's been doing, yeah. I mean,
and he's healthy too. I mean, he's like Torrey Hunter, for crying out loud.
He was an MVP candidate, little people know, for most of the year last year.
Yeah, he absolutely was. And so should have Goldschmidt. He kind of fell off in September, but he should have been in there. And I just thought, and then they had 2 guys from bad teams going at it. And I even like Votto more than Stanton, really. But going back to Harper, though, this is what I think is going to happen. He's going to get a deal for around $250, $260 over 8 years or so, 7 or 8 years. It's similar to the way JD Martinez's deal is. So he might get $40 million a year for the first few years, and then they're going to put an opt-out in there, and then he'll opt out and do it again. Get another long-term deal. So I think the annual value is going to be really high, but I don't think the long-term value is gonna be high. So I think that's the only way Boris has to swing it. And if another big fish, I don't think Machado will agree to sign with Baltimore at this point, because they're getting killed. Not. But it wouldn't have surprised me if he chickened out and took maybe a slight discount, but still a guaranteed thing. If suddenly he comes off the market, then Boris has to think long and hard. Maybe he just has to take the best offer that the Nationals will give him. And here's the other thing. The Red Sox aren't going to be in the market for Harper. Neither will the Yankees.
The Yankees probably won't be either.
Yeah, the Yankees probably not. The Cubs signed Darvish this year. They already have Hayward, who's a complete albatross on their books. Lester, that's not cheap. You got to figure they want.
The Phillies will be in.
The Phillies will be in, yeah, and I think
Braves will probably